I'm the big dog at the welterweight division, and he gotta take a back seat and take that 60-40 or 70-30, wherever we give him.
If we fight, it's going to be either 70-30, 80-20. Was that?
Man, I was when
is
I
that
said
posturing or what was that?
When did I say that?
That was.
Yeah, I said it on my girl Instagram. What's going? But I was playing. Hey, man, nobody taking no 80-20, 70-30. Yeah, I was playing. I was like, because I was like, it's gonna be 60-40, and I was like, yeah, he keep playing crazy. It's gonna be 70-30 or 80-20. But yeah, I was playing. Like, I was serious about that, man. Like, people can't take jokes.
I was fooling y'all. Those was jokes. Woo! Woo!
Man, sit your ass down.
I'm tired of your trifling ways and of listening to that jackass break.
Let me just explain the rules. So you get 5 minutes to go ahead and get your spiel on why you think Bob Crawford did not lose money, as far as why Bob did not lose money on Terence Crawford, and then Amadeus gets his 5 on why he believed he did lose money, and then after that you guys go 5 minutes just going head to head, okay? And then I'm gonna let everybody in the comment section decide who the winner is on that, okay? All right, so Amadeus told you to go first. Go ahead and go first, and we can get it in.
Okay, so
You there?
All right, so let me just stay in this spot. Okay, so first and foremost, Bob Arum, we know that he can't be trusted either way. We don't know when he's lying and when he's telling the truth. But what we do know is that it's most likely he's lying when it benefits him. That's first and foremost. Terence, I was saying that Terence is has a double-edged sword here, because you have the PBC, and I agree with this gentleman that they're lying about the numbers. I've been saying that all along, that PBC's been lying about the numbers, pumping Spence numbers up, and I agree with him wholeheartedly on that. But what he doesn't realize is that Bob Arum has a reason to lie about Terence numbers as well, and try to make them seem lower than they are. Why does he have a reason to lie? Because he wants to make sure that Terence, just like now, he can't go anywhere, right? He's stuck with Bob. While even though he's making money, he's saying he's not making money. But why sign a guy that's not making money? He says, oh, because he has these championships or what? So what? He has the championship. If he's not making money, we know Bob is in the business to make money. He don't care nothing about no titles. He don't care nothing about no history. He doesn't care anything about anything but the dollar bill. So despite all of those titles and accolades that Terence had, we know that if Terence wasn't making money during that HBO time, he would have cut him. But no, he did not cut him. He re-signed him, and for a lucrative, decent amount of money. And like you caught this guy when you said, you caught this guy, David, when you told him, oh, well, which one is it? Is Bob a shrewd businessman or is he not? One minute this guy says he's a shrewd businessman, then the next minute he says he's not. This guy's waffling all over the place. But that's the main point I want to make here, is that don't believe that Bob didn't have reason to lie and try to downplay the numbers that Terence Crawford did and the money that he made during that HBO contract. And as he aptly says, we do not know what the numbers were, because if ESPN, the company, released the numbers, I will agree with him. Until ESPN, Fox, or Showtime, until they release the numbers, which they're publicly traded companies, they cannot lie about numbers. So until they release the numbers, I don't believe any of these numbers. But I do know that the PBC has a reason to lie, and I know that Bob Arum had a reason to lie on Terence Crawford. So he can take the floor from there.
All right, with time to spare. Okay, yes, sir. All right, Amadis, it's on you, fam. Go ahead. Tell us why Bob Arum lost money on Bud Crawford.
Well, we gonna go with facts over fiction on this side. So it's not my opinion. When you pay Sean Porter $4 million and you pay Bud $6 million, right? Let's go in the high end. The high end was at the pay-per-view did 130, 69.99. That's like the short of 10 is like 9 and some change, right? So already off the bat, the pay-per-view sales they're in the hole from the purses, right? So we all agree if you're in the hole, you didn't even break even yet, right? Then you go to the expense of putting the pay-per-view on. You gotta pay ESPN. Typically, the company, how most pay-per-views work, they take anywhere from 30 to 50% depending on how the deal breaks out. Let's say they took on the low end 30%. So that means they're in the purses that they actually, the money that they actually generated, they're already taking 30% of that back to the company. What you're saying is that he wasn't losing money on them, but just by that simple math right there, he clearly lost money in the biggest fight that he's ever had, essentially with Sean Porter, right? And so you quoted me earlier by saying we had the titles. I also said the most important part is that he has an opportunity by re-signing Terence Crawford to make one of the 2 or 3 biggest fights in boxing at the time with Earl Spence. That's the main incentive to sign him again, right? You want Bob Arum is greedy like every other promoter. You want to be able to sign a fighter if you got a chance to make one of the biggest fights. Who wouldn't have done that, right? But when you say he wasn't losing money on his fights, do you know the numbers for the Victor Postile and Crawford pay-per-view? Versus what Crawford was paid? What Postile was paid? So when you do 50,000, right? But you paid a fighter. Crawford's purse alone put them in the hole. So it's not like I'm hating on Crawford. Crawford one of the 2 or 3 fighters I actually enjoy because he ain't scared to fight nobody. He actually fights, etc. But just because I like a fighter, that's not gonna stop me from telling the truth. David, you can't talk. That ain't gonna stop you telling the truth because he has been losing money on them. But it's not just Bob on Crawford. Dave, I say this all the time. Most of these promoters are losing money. Why do you think Fox is getting out the business? They're not renewing with PBC because they losing money. Why you think so when you say, well, he was fighting with Crawford before to negotiate a contract, right? What do you think provided the incentive for Bob to sign him was that Spence fight? At the time, I would argue the only fights that were bigger would have been the Canelo Triple G rematch, and it would have been Wilder and Joshua when everybody wanted it. Other than those 2 fights, Crawford and Spence was the biggest fight. That's why you signed Spence. That's why you signed Crawford. I can keep going more into it, but we can go down the list of pretty much all his fights where they lost money paying Crawford what they was paying him. You have to. They're not even breaking even on the fights. So of course, if not even breaking even based off what you're paying them, it's not like Bud was fighting in Nebraska for his fight where he's fighting in that big ass stadium and damn near selling it out. He's fighting against Postall, nobody knows. He's fighting against what's the Olympic Diaz, nobody. He's fighting essentially against guys nobody knows. So how would he make the money back and be able to turn a profit over? It just, from a math standpoint, it doesn't even make sense. Forget about the how we feel about it. It's just the truth. Like, the numbers don't add up to say that he made a profit. And when people say they don't know the pay-per-view numbers, that's fine. But what you do know is that, okay, if I made 30 million and then David made 30 million and we only did 800 pay-per-view buys, if you do the simple math, we didn't break even. So we know that Bud and Porter didn't do 500,000 pay-per-view. Because if they did, they'd have put that number up. We know it's a low number, and that's why it's kind of hard to get the exact number officially. It was low enough that they don't want to release it. I'm just saying, it is what it is. It's not, like I said, facts over fiction. Like, this is all stuff you can verify. You can look up the ticket sales, the gate revenue, the pay-per-view sold, etc., and just do the math yourself. You look up how pay-per-views work. You look at the revenue splits, etc. So you do the math. You go, they took a loss.
All right, that's time right there, Modest. 5 minutes, ready and go.
If you don't mind me going first, just to address some of the comments. I don't know if you can see them. So I see that some of the people, Hunter Young saying that Bob Arum messed up when he went thinking he's gonna get the European fighters. You know that you can make a legit, besides Wilder, right? I don't think that there were bigger, numbers wise, Lomachenko's bigger than everybody in the division except Tank. Ironically, and Triple G was too in the middleweight division. So what Bob Aaron was trying to do is why a lot of people don't like Lomachenko. Go get a white boy from over there and build him up. But that's people's personal feelings. That ain't my problem. So to say that, that's wrong. A lot of people in here, y'all being emotions over what's actually taking place.
Okay. May I go? I mean, we're gonna debate. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, you can.
Okay. I want to know, since you know a lot, you got people you say you know a lot. So tell us, when he was at the end of the first contract, when Bob at the end of that contract, tell us how much money Bob lost at that point.
On Terence Crawford, I have to take a look at the contracts and stuff.
Wait. You just told everybody out here that Bob's been losing money. So I'm asking you, at the end of that contract, before he re-signed, how much money had Bob lost, Mr. Accountant?
Well, I don't know if the audio going out what you're hearing as well, right? So what I was doing was giving you an example by simple math.
I'm not talking about examples.
Hold on. I didn't cut you off. I didn't cut you off though, right?
This is a question though.
You can, right, and I'm answering. I'm going to answer how I want to answer. What I'm saying to you is that you can take the time and you can look up all the purses. That's how I also know too. It's called doing simple math. All you got to do is look up the fights, what they were paid, what the numbers did, and do some math. That's
okay.
all.
Okay.
So when I know that,
you answered that. Can I answer you another question?
Before the contract ended, right? He was the first contract. He was still. That's when the post-style fight happened. So you paying a fighter $1 million. Pay-per-view does less than $50K. Do the math.
Okay.
The money.
So we both started this in an agreement that we don't know what the real numbers are. We agree that Showtime doesn't release them. We agree that Fox don't release them. Or do they release them? Okay, maybe we don't. Do we agree with that?
I don't agree with that.
Okay, so when did
Showtime stopped releasing numbers once they started exposing the Gervonta Davis nonsense.
Okay, so can you tell us?
Nonsense
Yeah, a lot of it's nonsense.
Yeah.
So if we're both agreeing that we don't know exactly what these numbers are, how are you doing your simple math? What is it based on?
No. You said you don't know what all the numbers are. Some of these
well, tell us the numbers then.
Some of these pay-per-views I do actually know the numbers. So
Okay,
when I'm telling you that Bud and Porter didn't do 130, they did 90, and David like, hell no. All right.
I'm asking you, how do you know that then, sir?
I already explained that.
Explain it to me again, because I'm confused. You know that it's 90, but tell us how. What's your source? Who's your source? Because none of us has that source. Who's the source? Who knows?
That's what networking is, sir.
Okay, so we just have to trust and believe that you know the numbers. Okay, cool.
You don't got to trust nothing.
Okay,
but David, I'm actually
you're
shocked though, because a lot of people fuck with your channel. Maybe because you tell the truth too much, but start reaching out a little bit more, because your name do pop up on other channels, and you'd be surprised who fuck with you. You start getting some behind the scenes information too. You're gonna be shocked. Man.
Well, I mean, how do you debate a person that's just saying they have inside information that Showtime doesn't release, Fox doesn't release, none of the major networks release it, and then it's just like when we hear Mike Carpenter or one of them say it, they're not held accountable. You know, if they're lying, they're not going to get in trouble. They're not going to get in trouble.
Mike Carpenter actually is held accountable.
By whom? By whom? Please tell me.
So do you? Let me answer the question first. So when he tried to put numbers out, Espinosa checked them on it, and since then he hasn't. So this is what I mean by you just saying stuff without like taking the time to do the research yourself. You wouldn't have asked that silly question if you.
How is that a silly question when it's not just Mike? It's all sorts of people putting numbers out. And you're telling me now that you know, because you have a source that you won't divulge who this source is, but you know that it was 90 and not 130. Right. You sound just like that guy, Blue Blood. You sound just like him.
Because he actually worked on that fight. So I don't know all the pay-per-view numbers. I only know the numbers of the fights that he worked on. You saying that you're saying I said things I didn't.
Okay, so you know one. So how did you know Bob lost money? If you only know one pay-per-view and Crawford had a lot of fights, that means you don't know the numbers on the other fights. So how do you know he lost money?
This is my last time explaining this. I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm basically just repeating something. Most of Crawford's fights weren't even on pay-per-view,
Right.
which makes it even easier. So that means you can exclude having to do the math for pay-per-view. Look at his purses. Look at how much the tickets was going for. This is all public information. Look how many tickets he sold. Look how much merchandise was moved. If you can verify that, that's a little bit harder because sometimes fighters got their own personal things. But look at stuff that you can verify, like ticket sales, gate revenue, purses. Do some math, figure it out. Understand that you look it up. You look up the models and go, okay, if David gets a fight on ESPN, how much does ESPN typically take from fighters on ESPN?
Okay.
Subtract that. It's simple. I keep telling you, it's math. Like you're asking me to do work that you got to do yourself, champ.
But doesn't HBO have a contract with Bob? How much did HBO pay Bob?
Okay, y'all. That's time.
You won the belt with nobody.